Hello students, let's start our first topic of language with the unit 1, that is the sentences. What are sentences? Sentences are a group of words that makes a complete sense. The example, Jack and Jill went up the hill. Now you can see the sentence is making a complete sense. If I would have made the sentence as went up Jack and Jill the hill, that wouldn't have formed a proper sense. Things to remember about a sentence. Sentence makes a complete sense. It begins with a capital letter. The sentences always have to start with a capital alphabet. Third, the words in the sentence must be in proper order. The sequencing must be proper and it should make a complete sense. Fourth, it ends with a full stop, a mark of interrogation, or a mark of exclamation. At the end of the sentence, you always place these punctuation marks, whether it be a full stop, that is depending on the sentence. If it is a question, then an interrogation mark, or a mark of exclamation or an exclamatory mark. Now look at these words. A funny story. At the bus stop. Last evening. Of no use. Now you'll tell me, ma'am, these all are also forming meaningful. These all are meaningful words. But are they making a complete sense? No. They are incomplete. Although they are meaningful, but they are not giving us a complete sense. So a group of words that makes sense but not complete sense, that is called a phrase. Coming to the next part, that is the parts of the sentence. Which are the two parts of sentences? That is subject and predicate. Subject tells who or what the sentence is about, and predicate tells us what the subject does or is. Now examples. Mr. Parks is our principal. Now here Mr. Parks is the person whom we are talking about. That is the subject. And who he is? That is, he is our principal. So is our principal is the predicate. Max and Ben are in 3rd grade. Now here whom are we talking about? That is Max and Ben. And what are they doing? What are they? Where are they? They are in the 3rd grade. So are in 3rd grade is the predicate. The waitress dropped the tray of food. Now whom are we talking about? That is the waitress. So the waitress is the subject, and what she did? She dropped the tray of food. So drop the tray of food is the predicate. The dogs in our neighbor's yard barked all night. Whom are we talking about? They are the dogs in our neighbor's yard. We are not only talking about the dogs. Which dogs? Those particular dogs who are in our that are in our neighbor's yard. So the dogs in our neighbor's yard is the subject, and what it did? It barked all night. So barked all night is the predicate. Ali and I studied for our science test. Whom are we talking about? Ali and I. So Ali and I is the subject, and what they did? Studied for our science test. So studied for our science test is the predicate. Now, important points for subject and predicate. The subject of a sentence usually comes first, but occasionally it may be placed after the predicate. Now read the next example. In the heart of the forest lived a saint. Now, what is the subject in that sentence? That is a saint about whom we are talking. That is about the saint. That a saint word is the subject. And what is the predicate? In the heart of the forest lived. In the previous sentences that I had shown you, there the subject was coming before the predicate. Here we can see that the subject can also be placed after a predicate. Second, the verb is an essential part of a predicate. You can see the verb. What is the verb in the above sentence? That is lived. The predicate should have a verb. Third, in an imperative sentence, the subject is always you, but it is implied and not stated. It means it's not shown in that particular sentences that whom we are talking to. Example, sit down. Now here the word, first coming to the imperative sentence. What is an imperative sentence? Just recall, an imperative sentence, those sentences that expresses a command, order, request or an advice. So here, sit down, that is a command. Now what is, whom are we talking to? That is the person you. So you is the subject here. That the word you is not stated here particularly, but we can understand whom we are talking to. That is the next person, that is you. Now coming to the second example, open your books. Now here, when you are coming in the class and I ask you all to open your books, whom am I talking to? That is you. You is the subject. We indicate it as hidden subject. That is the word you. And open your books is the predicate. Now, kinds of sentences. How many kinds of sentences you all have studied in the previous class? That is, we have 4 kinds of sentences. First is declarative. Declarative or assertive sentence. Yes, what is a declarative sentence? It tells about something. It says or states about something, and it always ends with a full stop. Example, I have a blue dress. You can see it's just giving us some information. It's stating something, that is, I have a blue dress, and it's ending with a full stop. My sister is in 1st grade. Okay, and it's here also the sentence is ending with a full stop. Second is interrogative sentences. Interrogative sentences are those that asks a question, and it always ends with a question mark. Example, when are we eating? You can see a question mark that is put after it. The next example, how do we play this game? Again we have a question mark after it. See children, don't forget to put the question mark after the sentence when we know it's an interrogative sentence. Always should have a question mark, otherwise your marks will be cut for it. Coming to the next, third kind, that is imperative sentences. We have already just studied about it. Imperative sentences are those that expresses a command, an order, an advice or a request. Okay, and these sentences also ends with a full stop. Example, clean your room. Do your homework, please. Coming to the fourth kind is exclamatory sentences. An exclamatory sentence shows sudden feeling, and it always ends with an exclamatory mark. Example, the dog has fleas. My hair is on fire. Now here these sentences you can see, we don't put a full stop or a question mark, we have an exclamatory mark after that. Okay, coming to the next topic, we have question tags. Now you can see there on the slide many small words are written. Are you, was she, do you. What are these? These are question tags, and after it you can see you have a question mark. Let's read. We use question tags at the end of statements to ask for confirmation. They mean something like all right or do you agree? Structure. A positive statement plus a negative question tag. It means that a positive sentence will always have a negative question tag, and a negative sentence will always have a positive question tag. For example, you are a technician. Now you see, you are a technician. This is a sentence. You are a technician is a positive sentence. No, did not, do not, these words form negative, right? So here you are a technician is a positive statement. So here what is the negative question tag we can use for it? Like you are is there. So are, in place of that we are writing, for the negative tag we are making is aren't you. Okay, so here you are a technician, aren't you? Now coming to the negative statement having a positive question tag. You are not a technician. Now not is indicating a negative statement. You are not a technician. Now negative, negative statement will always have a positive question tag. Positive statement will always have a negative question tag. And here also after the question tag, don't forget to put the question mark. Okay. Now here you can see the negative question tags. Positive statements are written there with a negative tag. You are a student, aren't you? He is very busy, isn't he? He was happy, wasn't he? They were surprised, weren't they? You speak English, don't you? He studies Spanish, doesn't he? You studied for the test, didn't you? Now you can read the further examples and understand it. Okay, moving next, we have the negative statement with positive question tags. You can have a look at it. Students, keep in mind there is no change of tense. Okay, and for the words like I am, we use the question tag as aren't I. For positive commands, we use will you or won't you. For negative commands, we use will you. And for the words let us, we use the tag shall we. Okay, now moving further, we have WH question words. Now we all have studied the WH, that is the WH, the words beginning with W. Right? The question words WH, what, when, where, who, whose, which, why. These are the words. You can have a look at the screen. Who, whose, whom is always only used for persons. Who is used as subject. What and which, they are used for persons as well as things. And whom, WHOM, is used as object. Okay, so with this, in today's session, thank you.